Talking cattle now and cheap gains, which is a term used when you put calves on stocker operations. And when you do that, many factors can impact your success. To learn more, here's SUNUP's Curtis Hare with Dr. Paul Beck.
Well, the weather's finally getting cool, and that means that those spring-born calves are about to hit the stocker operations this winter. And Paul, you recently had a cow-calf newsletter topic where, we often kind of think about calves on like stocker operations as just cheap gain, but there's a lot more to it, right?
Yeah, I've had a series of articles going through the Cow-Calf Corner newsletter talking about how management before finishing, whether it's during the cow-calf phase or during the stocker phase, influences the performance and carcass quality of calves as they go through finishing and subsequently go to our consumer as beef. So there's a lot of different places where the decisions that a producer makes has some long-term impacts. And this latest article is talking about the influence of the stocker industry. And it's more than just cheap gain. The stocker operator is trying to make money on margins between the buy and the sell, but he's also adding value to the entire beef industry in several different ways. We're taking a lot of calves that are quite variable in genetics, and they're adding immune resiliency and robustness to those calves, going from a unweaned calf to a larger yearling.
So why is it often thought of as cheap gain, and why is it not actually?
Whenever we are just trying to minimize the dollars we spend for these calves out on grass, we may not get the cheapest cost of gain. Just the forage base or pastures may be deficient in nutrients, whether it's a mineral or energy or protein. We might need to spend some money on some supplements to increase their gain to get better performance. We can also use growth promoting technologies, ionophores. We can get about 10% increase in gain no matter what the base gain would be for those animals. Implants are quite the same. We can get 10 to 20% improvement in performance for a very low investment, no matter what the base rate of gain those cattle are going in. So even if those cattle are gaining quite low rate of gain, we can get that 10 to 20% improvement in performance with either implants and ionophores. If they're gaining quite a lot, like on wheat pasture cattle, we will still get that 10 to 20% increase in gain for both of those technologies. And the great thing about those technologies is they're different modes of action, so that is additive, so we can get 15 to 25% increase in performance with those technologies used together. One of the thoughts is if we add a supplement or we add these growth promoting technologies, we will decrease the performance during finishing. And that is not always true. If we are looking at just providing a cheaper energy type supplement, we may increase performance as a stocker calf, but we're increasing the flesh of those calves. And it's probably not as efficient in increasing gain on pasture, even though it is cheap. If we add a protein or a bypass protein supplement based on distillers grains, for instance, or some of those commodities, we will get a nice increase in gain from both the protein and the energy, but the influence on feedlot gain will not be as great. So we won't see that decrease in performance when they hit the finishing stage.
So there's just a lot, and I guess the takeaways to all of this is that pretty much everything matters.
Yeah, and the decisions we make early in the process can have a huge influence later on. One of the biggest influencers where we can spend money and decrease our cost of performance is in health. Vaccines, preconditioning, those all influence and have a much longer term influence on our final product and the profitability throughout the growing phase. If we're just trying to cheapen everything up, we may have lower total cost spent, but our cost of gain will be higher because those cattle aren't performing to the optimum level that they can perform.
All right, thanks, Paul. Dr. Paul Beck, OSU Extension beef cattle specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And if you'd like some links to some information that Paul talked about, just go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.